first and foremost, wouldn't they?
They do, but they also look at what is likely to deliver the highest net outcome in terms of uptake for Australia, and having confidence in what is a free, universally available but voluntary vaccine is the critical thing. So how do we think about this? It's always about confidence based on safety, and confidence based on the ability to have ultimate control. We want as many Australians as possible. I would like every Australian to take this up, other than those with a medical reason which would prevent them.
How many?
We recognise that being voluntary is the best way to do that.
How many are you? What's the plan here? How many, as a percentage of the population, need to have the vaccine in Australia?
Well, we'd like as many as possible. I respectfully won't put a figure on it. We've provisioned so as every Australian has access to vaccines. We've secured 150 million doses of a range of vaccines.
But surely there must be a number in mind here before we can reach herd immunity, do things like open up the international border and so on. You must have some target.
Well, our first goal is protection, and what we see is with both the two initial vaccines, the Pfizer and the AstraZeneca vaccine, the international evidence is that the safety impact for prevention of serious illness, hospitalisation, death has been determined to be up to 100%. There was a Lancet article, which is one of the world's premier medical journals. The World Health Organization also put out a finding in the last week of up to 100% protection in the case of AstraZeneca against a serious illness, hospitalisation and loss of life. And so the first goal is protection. The second goal is to have as high as possible a rate, and we will learn more as a world about the impact in terms of preventing transmission. The evidence is increasingly strong, but also about the longevity of the antibody protection, and that's not known yet, but it will be known over the course of the coming years.
So the first goal is trying to protect against the virus coming into Australia. That's, vaccinating the quarantine workers, border workers and so on. The longer term goal is herd immunity.
Well, obviously that is a long-term goal, but one of the things we've been cautious of is that you have three factors. You have coverage, you also have the question of the transmission capacity and impact, although the evidence coming out of international studies now, both clinical trials and real-world data, is that the different vaccines are showing a strong transmission impact, but we always have to be aware of the capacity of the virus to mutate. And we have to look at what is called the longevity of the protection with regards to the antibodies.
What about the side effects?
The world doesn't know that answer. The world is engaged
What
in
about the side effects?
Clinical trial, the largest global vaccination trial ever.
What about the side effects?
What's the message for the public? It's safe, it's effective, it will help protect you, but it will also help protect your mum and dad, your grandparents, your nonna,
except for the grandparents that it kills.
Australia. A couple of other things. Facebook, a new campaign being launched today, is urging federal and state governments, the private sector as well, not to spend money advertising with Facebook, given what they've done this week. You, in fact, called it disgraceful and profoundly shocking. Will your department still advertise on Facebook when it comes to the vaccine?
I spoke to my office to make sure on Thursday, that we were not doing that. I will check that my department is not, but on my watch, until this issue is resolved,
so the health doesn't come forward. Health doesn't come first, hey Greg?
But we've already done that with my
health doesn't come first.
I reaffirmed yesterday that
that's pretty
there
scummy.
has been none commissioned or instituted since this dispute arose. And I've got to say, basically, you have corporate titans acting as sovereign bullies, and they won't get away with it.
That's what you're doing.
Finally,
you're bullying
country,
Facebook.
but other countries will.
Finally,